evening and welcome to Channel Yemaswati News. My name is Yemaswati. Before we start with our news bulletin, let's take a look at our top stories making headlines this half an hour. The rehearsals for the official opening of the third session of the 11th Parliament are still going on at the House of Parliament. This follows the fact that this year it's going to be the first of its kind, as the official opening is going to be a virtual event. Today actually did down their tools following a press conference that they made on Monday. And finally, it seems as though many of the clergy have taken preaching to public transport vehicles. And now the news in detail. The official opening of the third session of the 11th Parliament is actually very close. And today was the second session of the rehearsals for the official opening, where the clerk to Parley, Mr. Benedict Xaba, stated that it is going to be mostly a virtual event. We have a report. The preparations of the official opening of the third session of the 11th Parliament are at an advanced stage. Today, the Parliament staff had called all their stakeholders who are going to be working together with them on the first of its kind virtual official opening. We spoke with the clerk to Parliament, Mr. Benedict Xaba, who had this to say. It is worth noting that all the staff that will be working at the Parliament's official opening from all the various stakeholders are those who will be tested negative for COVID-19. It is also worth noting that even those who were tested today are also negative of COVID-19.
Kusho ukuthi lamuhla bekuhlangene nje sonke singama stakeholders sitobuka lokuthi sesito rehearse vele njengalo sathi ukuthi le ndlela etawuvulwa ngayo ayizange kuyenteke kutabe kuyingqala kuvela lokuthi ivule virtual, so lamhla ke besitobuka lokuthi kutawuhamba kanjani ihabe sto rehearse ikakhulu engakusho nje ukuthi sicale vele ngelizinga lelisetulu kuyabonakala ukuthi livela kithi liyathuthuka kakhulu ikakhulu nje ngidumise lona litiko la ka ICT lengathi lidlala inzima lenkulu kulokuvulwa kweParliament lonyaka, so tonke tinkinobho tabo beti sezingeni lelisetulu sikhona nekuthi sibonane tindzaweni letehlukene lokusho kona ukuthi mayivula iParliament sive semaswati ngeke kube khona ukuthi angefiki neParliament kube njani kodwa sitawukhona ukuthi silethe indlela letakwenta ngisuka lavumisa uve ngasivele bofike ngetinyawo la Parliament. So
it is also worth noting that those who took part in the rehearsals of the official opening have also tested negative for COVID-19. I'm Yemaswati for Channel Yemaswati News in a report compiled by SONKHE Lobamba. The Consumer Forum of the Kingdom of Eswatini urges consumers to make sure that they save their money for rainy days. This follows the fact that the academic year for the year 2021 has been delayed, and therefore parents and guardians should not forget that there are going to be school expenses eventually. We have a report. The Consumer Forum in the Kingdom of Eswatini is urging parents and guardians to keep saving money for schools expenses. This follows the fact that the opening of the academic year in the year 2021 has been delayed. We spoke to Mr. Mandla Njagala, who is from the Consumer Forum, who stated that schools are going to open eventually and it is imperative to save for rainy days.
As consumers and parents, we need to remind ourselves that schools will be opening shortly, and a lot of money shall be needed to process that. It is very important to all of us as parents to be very cautious of how we spend and how we borrow money, since school will be opening shortly. We request our government to ensure that the prices of basic commodities is maintained at minimum, if possible. We also request the Minister of Education to freeze or nullify all the outstanding school fees of last year, since we are in a dilemma as parents and consumers. Thank you.
Njagala concluded by urging His Majesty's government and the Ministry of Education and Training and schools at large to be lenient with parents with outstanding fees, as everyone in the Kingdom of Eswatini and the world over is currently facing financial challenges due to the effects of COVID-19. For Channel Yemaswati News, I am Yemaswati with Sandile Mpapane Matapa. COVID-19 are prone to mental disorders. This follows that many of them do suffer from anxiety as well as depression. She was speaking to our reporters in the following report.
A number of people who recover from COVID-19 develop some psychological issues, including anxiety. Yemaswati reporters today spoke to psychologist Yemaswati in Ezulwini to pick a brain about the matter. Mdlalose confirmed that indeed people who are recovering from COVID-19 have some psychological issues and further stated that they should seek help from a psychologist or talk to somebody they trust so that they can voice out their worries and issues.
This is a sad reality. Yes, it's almost like sweet sorrow because we are happy that we have recovered from it and have not succumbed to it. However, we are always left with scars as if something has been taken away from us. A lot of our patients that come back fully recovered still suffer from a lot of post-trauma disorder, from anxiety, from panic attacks, from a lot of mentally disturbing episodes because of what they went through. And the sad part about postpartum depression is that it comes along with anxiety, which its symptoms are almost similar to those of COVID. So sometimes you may feel chest pains and think, oh, here it is again. And it's worse for those that have had the experience of what it's like to have those difficulties with breathing, chest pains due to COVID, and yet maybe this time it is just an anxiety attack or a panic attack. It is very traumatizing. Despite that we are happy that we have recovered, I still firmly advise that can we go back for counseling. A lot of us, once you hear that, oh, my result is back and I'm positive, it's almost like it's the end of the world. You have seen everyone else dying and you coming out alive. There's a bit of, I'm alive and the other person died. Sometimes they come out with anger that I should have died instead of suffering the way that I'm suffering right now. So definitely there are huge repercussions on those that have recovered from COVID-19, and we advise them to go for counseling, to seek psychological assistance, to get used to their new normal.
I am Zandile Mpapane for Channel Yemaswati News with Kanyisile Mabuza, Ezulwini.
And at this time, viewers at home, we're going to take a look at our health statement for today. The Ministry of Health would like to inform the public of the status of COVID-19 in Eswatini. A total of 902 results were received today, of which 96 people tested positive. The total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to date is 15,974. 2 deaths have been reported, taking the total COVID-19 related deaths to 585. The summary is as follows. There are 2 females who passed away. One is from the Oho region and the other is from the Shiselweni region. Only one of them had existing comorbidities. There are currently 4,294 active cases, 10,999 recoveries, 585 people have succumbed to COVID-19, and 96 people were registered for care today. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the country is 15,974. The cumulative confirmed COVID-19 cases by the regions are as follows. Ho is at 6,972, Manzini at 6,262, Lubombo is at 1,440, and Shiselweni is at 1,300. I'm Kanyisile Mabuza for Channel Yemaswati News, Ngoyoyo. Personnel of the emergency services on Monday, Nabsao held a press conference where they were announcing that the emergency services personnel are going to down their tools today on Wednesday if the government and the Ministry of Health do not respond positively to their grievances. Today, Channel Yemaswati paid a visit to the EPR headquarters in Babane, where we found that everything was at a standstill. We conducted an interview with Mr. Oscar Ngambule, who is the president of NAPSAO, who stated that they stopped all operations for the 977 personnel. Even those who had decided to work today were made to stop as long as they are members of the union.
Invoke Section 18, Subsection 2, we Occupational Health and Safety Act. Lotus Yatisusa, Gulobungoti. Umuntu akasho lokuthi asikateleki kungabo sila kula ma premises sitovakalisa nje kukhala kwethu ngoba besatile ukuthi umqashi utawuzama indlela letibutsotsi ukuthi bese uto intimidate leti 70 ngoba laba lembabonako nje lababuyela ngekhathi lapha kuna umkhuba lowenteka lalo umphathi wakhona ubaphathisa kwebandla and transfers ngaphandle kwe-involvement ye-CSC na PS.
The grievances of NAPSAO and the EPR include the fact that management at the EPR services is one that is not fair. At the time of compiling the report, there was a bit of a scuffle as some of the employees wanted to continue to work at the call center while their union did not see fit. There was a big disagreement between officers of the Rural Eswatini Police Service and personnel of the EPR as well as NAPSAO. For Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Kanyisile Mambuza with Kimberly Mavuso in Babane. A Toyota Quantum, which is a public transport vehicle, was stuck inside a full river yesterday in the morning following that its driver decided to drive it into the river even though he could not see the bridge. We have a report. It is stated that the public transport operator, who was the driver, drove the Toyota Quantum model into the river at around 6 a.m. while he was going to work. It is stated that his passengers saw the river and decided that it was too full and it was risky to go inside with the vehicle and asked to get off of it. After getting off, the driver drove into the river anyway, and just before he reached the middle, the water came at a very high speed and his vehicle was too weak to get to the other side. We conducted an interview with the eyewitness who had this to say.
Okay, ufika wagibelisa abamfu somewhere ngalana uthi ehle nabo, so labantu bacele kwehla before bafike lapha eBlokweni because babonile ukuthi cha ugcwele lapha eBlokweni kungaba ingodikile ukuthi beni umshayeli wabehlisa ke labantu wahamba yivani uthi te nasalapha nje sekade ofika emkhathisini welibhloko lamanti aqhamuka ngestim lesikhulu kanti so sibeka solangete kapha eBlokweni aqhamuka ngestim lesikhulu vele amisa le khumbi ke wangasakhona ukuthi achubeke lembili noma aphinza jike abuyele emuva.
She continues to say that the driver then swam out of the Toyota Quantum and the Royal Eswatini police officers came to the rescue by getting the vehicle out of the water. The Royal Eswatini Police Service continues to urge Yemaswati to stay away from full rivers as this is very dangerous. I'm Kanyisile Mabuza for Channel Yemaswati News in a report compiled by Linda Shongwe, Bunya.
Pick n Pay has a heart for Eswatini, which is why we bring you the best every day. Get the best deals like P&P chuck steak bone-in for a low $89.99 per kilogram. And P&P 2-ply white toilet tissue 18s for just $79.99. Get P&P UHT long life full cream milk 6 by 1 liter for only $69.99. Get these great deals and more only at Pick n Pay Eswatini.
Good news for Nhlangano and surroundings. The Family Life Association of Eswatini has opened a clinic at Bethesda Mission Natick premises. We offer contraceptives and family planning services, STI screening and treatment, child growth and monitoring, antenatal care, cancer screenings, and more. Contact us at 7677-6771 or 79776771. The Family Life Association of Eswatini is also situated at Mbabane and Manzini. The Family Life Association of Eswatini.
Imbela kumatima la kuleni. Ukhanyisa tipoko esikhundleni kukhanyise gezi. Mina angisakhoni tinyoka tinje.
Izuba awukutolunga nebakini. Awulomuthi. Alifongela lemnyama. Elidlulena. Idzima sauce.
Wotaka electric source utitike kuma fans, circuit breakers, ema socket nema switches nako konke kokwayarisha. Electric source kama soso.
Welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. I'd also like to take this opportunity and welcome all of our viewers who have just tuned in to channel Yemaswati News. And now we continue with our news bulletin. It seems as though some preachers have taken preaching to public transport vehicles. This was a complaint made by public transport operators from the Manzini bus rank, who stated that this is breaching the COVID-19 regulations, which clearly stipulates that there should be no gatherings. And now these preachers actually make gatherings inside their vehicles by preaching inside them. We have a report.
Following the fact that gatherings in the kingdom, including churches, were banned to curb the spread of COVID-19, a number of pastors resorted in preaching in buses, especially around Manzini bus rank. Yemaswati channel reporters got a number of complaints from bus drivers and conductors about the pastors, as they stated that they spread the COVID-19 because some pastors failed to follow the precautions to spread COVID-19. Our reporters then paid a visit at Manzini bus rank, where we spoke to a number of bus conductors. Unfortunately, they did not want to appear on our television station. We spoke to one driver who stated that indeed the situation is worrying, as he mentioned that pastors should stop preaching inside buses, as they put their lives and the lives of passengers in danger of contracting COVID-19. He mentioned that the situation is very worrying and further urged the government to do something about the issue. He mentioned that pastors should be patient and wait for the government to give them a go-ahead to open churches again, rather than preaching inside buses and attracting a large gathering. I am Zandile Mpapane for Channel Yemaswati News with Mpolisi Mavuso.
75-year-old Nagani Mdluli resides at Mangayane in Lushugishini. His house is collapsing as a result of the heavy rains and as a result of the material that it was made of. Mkulu is asking for assistance from the general public, as he says no one can help him. Anyone who may be of assistance can contact his neighbor, Mrs. Mbuyisa, on 7659-5333. 7659-5333. I'm Kanyisile Mabuza for Channel Yemaswati News. An elderly woman's house was gutted down by fire at Luve under Mkiweni constituency. This follows the fact that the elderly lady decided to make a fire inside her grass hut as a result of the heavy rains that are falling non-stop. We have it. An elderly woman's house at Luve was gutted down by fire. This follows that the rains have been raining non-stop and the elderly lady wanted to start a fire. She started the fire inside her grass hut, which then caught the fire. The Mkiweni Member of Parliament, Honorable Michael Masugu, said that he is urging other residents from Luve and surrounding areas to assist the elderly lady, as other people have been seen playing their part in making sure that they rehabilitate their roads and infrastructure. He stated that some of them are currently working on their neighboring roads to ensure that they all use the road comfortably.
Labo makhelwane libatsilikelwe bayezama abantu bekunene Nkosi yami kuthi lo yolodzilikelwe bahambe bambambise bamakhele njengabogogo nabomkhulu baningi kakhulu emakhaya sekaqhubeka nekusonakalela kulesimo lesinjengalesi. Namuhla nje ngicabanga emakhaya amathathu lengihambe kiwo vele kubi kakhulu, labanye bashelwe timbahla, lomnye gogo nje la kuThimleni khona kushe timbahla. I'm
Kanyisi Lemabuza in a report compiled by Linda Shongwe for Channel Yemaswati News. A Mahwalala community policeman, which is one location inside the capital city, says people come from outside locations and decide to open drinking sprees at Mahwalala. She stated that this paints a bad picture on the youth of the area as they try by all means to adhere to all COVID-19 regulations. We have a report.
Togonjalinjali, a Mahwalala community policewoman today made allegations that there are people who come to Mahwalala area to drink in the area's community playground. Alcohol was banned in the kingdom to curb the spread of COVID-19. Jalinjali stated that the people who commit such acts tarnish the name of Mahwalala as people think that it is the youth of Mahwalala who commit such acts.
Nalaba bantu labaqhamuka ngoba ukhanza baqhamuka nje baphethe botshwala kona kulamalanga ngoba kunemagani ukhanza baphethe emagani kuneliground ke lelikhona la kuMahwalala khanza nje bamiseta imoto tabo banatha botshwala lokubuhlungu ngakhona songathi ngilabantu bala kuMahwalala kani akusibo labantu bala kuMahwalala. Mina ngiliphoyisa lemango bekucela nje ukuthi Nkosi yami hawu Nkosi yami siyacela thina ezivende siqhamuka le ngaphandle ukuthi mabangasoneli lendzawo ngoba vele eMahwalala sowathatheka njengendzawo lembi sebayayingcolisa kanti lendzawo bese ihlobile nyalo nje thina sitakhamtitala kuMahwalala siva buhlungu kakhulu ngoba babambene ukuthi abafake amamaski abanjani makufika amaphoyisa ngathi sebayasati nalesikhathi sokufika nangemaphoyisa ngoba mayeshe bayeta shema amaphoyisa embulo lokufika kwabo babona nje ngiliphoyisa lemango Nkosi yami ukuthi maye ngiyacela ikakhulu kade okay nala kuMahwalala tikhona letipoti lokunye lokubuhlungu ngami ukhanzala ukuthi kwabona labo makabala tipotini mase kufika lamaphoyisa ngoba phela amaphoyisa ahamba ngena noma ngabe ngikuphi sekubukakala ngathi ngimlele sengibita labantu ukuthi abangene lapha nalapha kani phela emaphoyisa enta umthetho wawo lokunye shemile ngingakusho nje eziveni lokungakuveta ukuthi Nkosi yami maye le COVID Nkosi yami iyabulala.
She further mentioned that it is very challenging working as a community policewoman around Mahwalala, where the crime rate is very alarming. She then stated that she gets the threats daily and further mentioned that she is pleading with the Real Eswatini Police Service to assist her as she conducts her duties. She further mentioned that the youth of Mahwalala should follow COVID-19 precautions to protect themselves, as she mentioned that the youth can be negligent sometimes. I am Zandile Mpapane for Channel Yemaswati News with Nobile Makakula, Mahwalala.
And now for our sports news. The Chief Operations Officer for the Premier League of Eswatini, Mr. Pat Matlalela, says that he is not COVID-19 positive. This follows allegations and other rumors that were spread on social networks claiming that he is currently in isolation at home following testing positive. He also encouraged players from various teams to keep themselves fit by training on their own wherever they are. We have a report.
Mr. Pat Matlalela, who is the COO of a PSL, voiced out that what is being mentioned about him in the media, about him being diagnosed with COVID-19, is not true. He then further urged all soccer players to continue exercising so as to keep fit.
Kwesibili kungaba kubonga kubo bona baphathi bamacembu ikakhulukazi ama-board of governors lokuthi banakekela bona labadlali kuleli khasi lethi matima kangaka babavulela amathuba yokuthi bangayidlala ibhola noma kulukhuni kanje. Kumatima kudlala isibhola ngoba kudlala isibhola kuyimali mavuso. Kodwa bona bathi committee ukuthi noma kunalo mkhuhlane batayingeta i-economy yelive ngokuthi bacashe emaswati athole ukuthi akhona ukusebenza. Lesikucela konke lesikunxusako sesiphumile texwayiso letinengi ukuthi kufuna siphathe njani kulo mkhuhlane lo. Tsineke badlali ngibo vele lekungibona kuze ukuthi le product ebhola ibe khona noma le industry ebhola ibe khona kufuna kube ngibona abaphilile. Baphila ngendlela etinengi ngemavuso. Kulesikhathi sanyalo ke vele kunefuneka lokuthi baphephe kulo mkhuhlane. Njengoba kumisiwe ke nekuthi kumbe bangakhona ukuthi batrain bahlangene as a team. Siyabacela ukuthi bachubeke bawuhloniphe lo mgomo lo. Nekuthi ke basakulungiselela batrainer bangatrainer individually. Njengoba satama kubachazela ukuthi cha umdlali angatijimela ngamunye kuze ukuthi atoti khanza nawo ibuya ibhola atikhanza asezingeni elifanele ukuthi angachubeka adlale futhi adlale kahle anga affectwa ngema injuries. So siyabakhuthaza nje badlali ukuthi lapha emndenini yabo lapho bakhona nalo akajime ngamunye bangabe sebatholakala kumbe sebabuthene sebajima sebanene nekwekhuda ukuthi badlali phela babuye emakhaya ukhanza ukuthi lemakhaya kunetindzawo kumbe letingabonwa ngini nebetinzawo.
I'm Ncobile Makakula with Sandile Mpapane for Channel Yemaswati News in Mbabane.
Thank you very much for staying with us. I'd also like to take this opportunity before wrapping up to take a look at our top stories once again. The rehearsals for the official opening of the third session of the 11th Parliament are still going on at the House of Parliament. This follows the fact that this year it's going to be the first of its kind, as the official opening is going to be a virtual event. Today, personnel of the EPR, which is the Emergency Services, actually did down their tools following a press conference that they made on Monday. And finally, it seems as though many of the clergy have taken preaching to public transport vehicles. And that has brought us to the end of our news bulletin. Please do have a good night and may God bless you.